Greetings, everyone. Damien Dumar here, publisher of The Last Harvest by Lucian Mars, and we have yet another amazing article published on vampireashram.com in the Notes from the Night Side section, and it's all about the Pentagon 9/11 Illuminati sacrifice decoded. And it's talking about, again, the Kamiya of Saturn and how to use it to decode events such as the Pentagon 9/11 Illuminati attack. So, without further ado, 9/11 attack on the Pentagon decoded. Notice that by overlaying the Kamiya of Saturn with the pentagram, you'll notice the pentagon that forms in the center, and then adding up all of the points on the pentagram, you arrive at a significant key to the Masonic 33-degree position with the pentagon to be sacrificed in the center of the symbol. And 3 times 3 equals 9, the number of Satan, aka Saturn. Each 33-degree Mason is considered a son of Satan, aka Saturn, and is privy to the inner workings of the satanic Freemason one-world enslavement system, and is expected to make bloody sacrificial offerings to his adopted father, Satan. This is a mere formality taken up with gusto by the Roman Catholic Church, who are also fatherly experts in quote-unquote child-rearing. You know, the ones like the leaders and fascist billionaires each year who sacrifice an effigy of the human race to Moloch in Bohemian Grove in California. We can see the influence of Satan, aka El, in the Bible as the one who poses as the good shepherd to corral and lead the sheep and or fleece them for donations into war or peace killing, or is it peacekeeping? It all begins in elementary school, and if the sheeple misbehave, they might even end up in the electric chair invented by a dentist named Alfred Southwick in 1881, a Quaker. On August 6, 1890, William Kemmler was the first to be executed by electrocution. Southwick was present and is reported to have said, quote, "There is the culmination of 10 years' work and study. We live in a higher civilization from this day," end quote. What else would you expect a sadistic-minded Quaker to say? But critics did not agree. The New York State Dental Society went so far as to decline to recognize the University of Buffalo School of Dentistry, ostensibly because Southwick had not actually earned a degree in dental medicine. The lying piece of electrified Quaker shit. This is what religion produces. Sadistic liars reveling like morons in the name of science or superstition. Then there's good old Benjamin Franklin. Like George Washington, he too was a Mason of note. Noteworthy is the legacy he left as buried treasure beneath his house, but please don't think the Yale Skull and Bones Club is anything nefarious just because it is a fascist Illuminati fraternity club for white boys. According to Smithsonian Magazine, quote, "For nearly 2 decades leading up to the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Benjamin Franklin lived in London in a house at 36 Craven Street. In 1776, Franklin left his English home to come back to America. More than 200 years later, 15 bodies were found in the basement, buried in a secret windowless room beneath the garden. In 1998, conservationists were doing repairs on 36 Craven, looking to turn Franklin's old haunt into a museum. From a 1 meter wide, 1 meter deep pit, over 1,200 pieces of bone were retrieved," end quote. Remnants of more than a dozen bodies, according to Benjamin Franklin's house. 6 were children. Forensic investigations showed that the bones dated to Franklin's day. Claims to debunk the embarrassment to the satanic Freemasons included this one in the same article. Quote, Franklin was a noted revolutionary and powerful Freemason, the Grand Master of Masons of Pennsylvania, so it's easy to wonder what dark secrets Franklin may have hidden in his basement chamber. But the truth, it turns out, isn't quite so dark. The most plausible, read official, explanation is not mass murder, but an anatomy school run by Benjamin Franklin's young friend and protege, William Hewson, said The Guardian in 2003. Yes, of course. This is probably the same person who explained away the JFK assassination with the magic bouncing bullet, the 9/11 wonder planes, and why Bibi bomb-em to hell Netanyahu didn't act on confirmed Hamas terrorist planned attacks. Instead, he released the mastermind who pulled off the Hamas terrorist attacks on Israel in October of 2023 after a prison exchange of over 1,000 terrorists for a single Israeli foot soldier. Makes perfect sense because we all know conspiracies are make-believe fabrications by the uninformed. The 11th commandment, thou shalt have no conspiracies before those we, the Illuminati, orchestrate. Watch the news and see for yourself. There are none there ever, shown or known. All our politicians are honest, God-fearing Christian patriots, ready, willing, and able to hang Mike Pence in public. Let's cut to a commercial and forget we told you that. Suze, what's next for the weather? The Pentagon 9/11 attack linked to satanic Freemasonry, Illuminati. This historic prelude brings us up to the 9/11 attack on the Pentagon with the magically evaporating airplane whose passengers, black box, and everything but a few scraps of smoking metal simply dematerialized. The wings were the first to vanish just prior to hitting the Pentagon. Happens all the time. Wings of a major commercial airliner are known to simply vanish into a parallel universe just prior to impact. Somewhere out there in a parallel universe, the wreckage with bodies and the interior seats and equipment, baggage and all else landed. That's a lot harder to believe than what the Kamiya of Saturn says. That 9/11 was planned by the satanic Illuminati Freemasons, including the usual suspects such as Bush skull and bone-headed ex-president Boy George. To recap, when the five-pointed pentagram is added together, we arrive at the number of Satan and the 33-degree Masons. It also equals the number of Satan, which is 9. 3 times 3 equals 9. This also occurs in the number 666, which when added together equals 18, or 1 plus 8 equals 9. 9 as Satan is enthroned in the crown position of the cube, up top and in the center of a trinity. This means that whatever happens in the cube of Saturn happens as devoted to Satan, King of Kings and Lord of Lords in the Bible. 9 is therefore the ruling number of the matrix as its master mason. The number 9 comes up so frequently as to be an aside, including such movies as The 9 Gates starring Johnny Depp. The 9/11 Pentagon attacks was planned and implemented by the satanic Illuminati Freemasons. The code is akin to a confession. 9/11 has all the signature elements of a signed confession when you know the reptilian-based Illuminati code. All aboard for Armageddon. Flight 9/11 now boarding. Now let's add up the numerals in the yellow triangle. 9 plus 5 plus 1 plus 8 plus 6. And we arrive at the number 29. Add them together, and you get the number 11. Interestingly, or logically, when you also add up the entire pentagram, 33 plus 5, you arrive at the number 38. And what do you get when you add up 3 plus 8? The number 11. The pentagon in the center is to be sacrificed, in part, as an offering before the throne of Satan. The Illuminati elites needed some cover for their Iraqi invasion plan, and what better way to raise the indignation, Muslim hatred, and the pretext for the Middle East war in Iraq that will eventually lead to World War III? Satan requires a trinity of wars to equal a one world order and Armageddon. And who directs all of this reptilian-coded symbolic language? Satan. Before his throne, as depicted in the pyramid, sits the number 9, Satan. And from this diagram, we can clearly and visually see that the Pentagon was to be sacrificed in part during the infamous 9/11 Illuminati attack hosted from within. Imagine now how long this planned attack from within had to take. It had to happen far prior to the building of the Pentagon or the building of the Twin Towers. And it clearly implicates the ex-president and cabinet along with their handlers, the Illuminati. 2 planes and a guided missile, scratch that, a folding and fast-dissolving commercial airliner that vaporized at the Pentagon into a parallel universe, all took place over the most secured military zones in America? Yes, of course they did. People are sheeple, the reptilian-based Zionist Illuminati elite who either obsessively or possessively control every major political party around the globe and all the religious and political isms, and their international banking mob bosses don't care about human life. It means less than a piece of gum to be chewed up and spit out. To them, you're an electrical gumdrop, a popsicle best served with a heavy dose of fear, ignorance, and oppression. To understand the full background of how the elite plan to depopulate you, read the book The Last Harvest by Lucien Mars for full details. It's available in paperback, ebook, and audio for convenience at Amazon. And be sure to visit the free-to-view podcasts released by Damien Dumar on thelastharvest.info. Until next time, Damien Dumar, signing off.